Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding General, Major General Darrell O. Hood, the Post Command Sergeant Major Eric Oach, and Command Sergeant Major Rains, Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chief of the National Guard Barrier, welcome to the United States Army Training Center in Fort Jackson for the retirement review of one soldier and graduation companies A, B, C, and D from the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, 193rd Infantry Brigade. Please stand for the invocation given by Chaplain Stephen Townsend.
Join me as I pray. Eternal God, we give you praise for this amazing day. Thank you for bringing us here today as we celebrate this great achievement. I ask your blessing on these men and women who stand before us now. They have completed a difficult and challenging period of training. Thank you, O God, for being with them every step of the way. Guide them into their next steps as you strengthen them daily. I thank you for the drill sergeants and the cadre who have given countless hours of effort and care. God, honor them for their commitment and dedication to the mission. And I pray a special blessing over them and their families. I pray these words over all of us today. May the God of love, the God of joy, the God of hope, and the God of wisdom surround, sustain, and comfort all of us in all things and guide all of our ways. This I pray in the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please be seated. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the men and women you see here who have chosen to serve their country as soldiers. This review is the last official formation in the career of one lifelong soldier and for our newest soldiers. Not everyone successfully completes the difficult period of training. Far few are able to accept the challenges and difficulties that come with the life of a career soldier. But those in the formation today represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit soldiers who exemplify the Army's 7 core values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. They are imbued with the warrior ethos and display the tenets of putting the mission first, never accepting defeat, never quitting, and never leaving a fallen comrade. This is an important day, and these soldiers can take great pride in their accomplishments. To the parents, families, and friends of these soldiers, Fort Jackson extends a very warm welcome and sincere welcome. We are justifiably proud of our retiree lifelong dedication to our nation and are truly honored that the next generation standing on this field have chosen to join our ranks. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation. The units marching today from your left to your right are the 282nd Army Band, led by Sergeant First Class Matthew Johnson, graduating soldiers from the companies A, B, the Battalion Color Guard, and the graduating soldiers from companies C and D. Identified by their distinctive headgear are the drill sergeants. These dedicated non-commissioned officers form the backbone of the Army's training center system, selected based off profession competence, leadership ability, and years of service. These men and women undergo intensive training to earn their right to wear the distinctive hat and insignia. With the drill sergeant hat goes the importance of responsibility of molding civilian men and women into soldiers. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Major Gregory Barcelo, who serves as the executive officer for the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment. He and the battalion staff are positioned center on the field. The reviewing officer for today's graduation is the commander of 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Hargrove. On his left is Command Sergeant Major Charlton Gentles, the battalion's senior non-commissioned officer, master trainer, and principal advisor to the commander.
Sound, present, arms. Sir, the battalion is present. 40 rounds. Sound, order, arms.
The commander of troops will now bring forward the colors and persons to be honored. Competence and commitment are the hallmarks of professionalism. The soldiers and drill sergeants coming forward will be recognized for their excellence in training and duty performance and serve as examples to all.
Sir, the colors and persons to be honored are present. 40 rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. It is appropriate for soldiers in uniform and all armed forces veterans to salute the American flag. We ask our civilian guests to please remove your headgear and place your right hand over your heart as our national anthem is played.
Sound, present, arms. Detachment, present, arms. Detachment,
Please be seated.
order, arms. Sound, order, arms. Infantry, rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the retirement of one lifelong soldier. All soldiers begin their journey by graduating from basic training. Over the years, there have been many changes how the Army conducts basic training. However, many things remain the same. It was during basic training that this soldier was the first introduced to the Army values. It is where he learned the importance of teamwork and that the Army truly is a family. That sense of team and Army family is still embedded in what is done here today. Over 22 years ago, the soldier took the same oath to defend this nation that your loved ones on the field have taken. We salute this great soldier as he passes the torch of freedom along the newest generation of soldiers and your loved ones standing on the field today. A certificate of appreciation from the President of the United States will be presented to those retiring today. It reads, I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of our grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during critical times in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping the proud traditions of the military service. I trust that the incoming years you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you served. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedom. My best wishes to you and your happiness and success in the future. A certificate of retirement from the Chief of Staff, United States Army, is also presented to those retiring today, and to the spouse of today's retiree for his dedicated service to our nation. At this time, Major General Hood and Command Sergeant Major Oates will recognize our retiree for his service to the United States Army. Sergeant First Class Kyle Baer, having served honorably for 22 years of service, is placed on the retirement list effective 1 April 2025. Sergeant First Class Baer entered active duty in Des Moines, Iowa, and will reside in Lexington, South Carolina upon retirement. His fondest professionalism achievement was graduating from the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy on the Commandant's list. The nation salutes Kyle Baer, Sergeant First Class, United States Army, retired. Please join me in a round of applause for our retiree and his family. Although newly retired, he will always be a part of the Army family.
Right flank, forward. Left. Mark time, forward. Through, hold. Left, flank.
The soldiers most responsible for the training of these soldiers are the drill sergeants, who are carefully selected by the Department of the Army. The drill sergeant's campaign hat and badge have been a stoic symbol of professionalism and pride since 1962. At this time, the drill sergeant of the cycle for the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Senior Drill Sergeant Donovan Myers, will recite the Drill Sergeant Creed. We ask that all drill sergeants, past and present, stand for the reciting of the Drill Sergeant Creed.
The Drill Sergeant Creed! I am a drill sergeant. I will assist each individual in their efforts to become a highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldier, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. I will instill pride in all I train, pride in self, in the Army, and in country. I will insist that each soldier meets and maintains the Army standard of military bearing and courtesy, consistent with the high tradition of the U.S. Army. I will lead by example, never requiring a soldier to attempt any task I would not do myself. But first, last, and always, I am an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I am a drill sergeant. This will defend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Hargrove and Command Sergeant Major Generals will now present awards. The outstanding drill sergeant of the cycle for 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment is Senior Drill Sergeant Donovan Myers from Barnwell, South Carolina. The soldier leader of the cycle for Alpha Company is Specialist John McDaniel from Pensacola, Florida. The soldier of the cycle for Alpha Company is Private Levi Womack from Lawton, Oklahoma. The soldier leader of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private First Class Hakeem Ricketts from Tampa, Florida. The soldier of the cycle for Bravo Company is Private First Class Michael Dargan from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The soldier leader of the cycle for Charlie Company is Specialist Nathaniel Ellis from Miami, Florida. The soldier of the cycle for Charlie Company is Private First Class Zachary Danick from Houston, Texas. The soldier leader of the cycle for Delta Company is Specialist Ariel Skinner from Jackson, California. The soldier of the cycle for Delta Company is Specialist Stephanie Bremer from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Hargrove.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, welcome again to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Major General Hood, Command Sergeant Major Oaks, Command Sergeant Major Rains, Colonel Hutton, Colonel Metters, other distinguished guests we have here with us today, commanders and command sergeant majors. It's an honor to speak to everybody. I apologize to everybody over here in the Delta and Charlie seating. I'm going to turn into the lee of the wind so that you can hear me on this microphone. For those of you who joined us yesterday, I hope you enjoyed the pep rally as much as I did. It was outstanding, and I appreciate the energy that you brought. Yesterday's excitement stands in contrast to today's parade and ceremony. Today, please keep your applause only to an applause, and please stand as our colors pass by in parade. A special thanks to Sergeant Bear. You're coming full circle. You started in Alpha Company 213's barracks, and I appreciate you finishing today with 213 on the field. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it's a pleasure to have the 282nd Army Band, their central part of this ceremony and of Fort Jackson. Please join me in a round of applause for the band on the field. And as we mark this milestone, this graduation from basic combat training, I think it's appropriate to do so with a nod to the past as well as with an eye to our future. In 1917, Fort Jackson assumed the basic combat training legacy from Valley Forge, the birthplace of our Army and genesis of basic training. It is here today where over half the soldiers joining the Army begin their training, begin their journey. That is why we can truly say that victory starts here. And since that time, since 1917, Fort Jackson has earned its place time and again in the history books, having produced generations of American soldiers who selflessly served and defended the United States. through both world wars and beyond. Some of those soldiers, while serving, paid the ultimate price and remained buried in the distant lands where they fell. Many more returned back from their service overseas and continued to serve America, both in and out of uniform. It is not an exaggeration to say our great nation would not exist without those sacrifices. We should all be grateful we can call upon their example as a source of pride today. To that end, I would ask that all veterans and retirees with us today please stand so that we can recognize you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. What a legacy, and I appreciate it, each and every one of you. A piece of history you may not know is that 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry, and the 13th Infantry Regiment draw our name and our motto, 40 rounds, from the Vicksburg campaign of the Civil War and the bloody assault on Champion Hill. And while many of you probably don't know that, I guarantee you there's only 2 people in this audience that know this other piece. President Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders did not win the Battle of San Juan Hill. 13th Infantry Regiment, front and center of the line, attacked the Spanish fortifications, overcame the defense, and captured the Spanish colors on San Juan Hill. Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders were on Kettle Hill, watching it happen as the 13th Infantry stormed those fortifications. And just as the 13th Infantry led the Union forces up Champion Hill and led the American forces up San Juan Hill, the drill sergeants lead from the front and set the example each and every day in this battalion. Our mission would not be possible without those Champion Battalion drill sergeants, reinforced by our talented group of cadre. Those drill sergeants mentor, they train, they develop, they mold the most precious resource the Army has at its disposal, a lethal soldier. I want to recognize several drill sergeants who were selected above their peers for excellence. Drill Sergeant Myers, who you heard front and center. Drill Sergeant Coates, Drill Sergeant Moon, and Drill Sergeant Martinez. Please join me as we give a round of applause to our drill sergeants of 2nd Battalion, 13th Infantry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about your soldiers. 10 weeks ago, you entrusted us with your sons and daughters, your brothers and sisters, your husbands and wives. You have, no doubt, noticed a change in them. It is a good change. It is a positive change. It is a change grounded in the Army values and anchored to a soldier's discipline. The soldiers on the field are lethal. They are physically fit. They are mentally tough. Each one of them showed fortitude and grit, overcoming challenges in basic combat training. They know the value of teamwork. They stand before you and wear the pride belonging to the American soldier. And what is that pride? It is the pride earned through overcoming trials, through being tested and being found worthy. It is earned through learning you are stronger as a team than as an individual. It is the pride you feel knowing you are part of something greater than yourself. And while it is earned and internalized individually, it is a pride worn collectively. And what a collection. 845 soldiers from all walks in life, all points across this great nation, and not surprisingly, 41 countries around the world. As a matter of fact, 113 of the soldiers in formation became American citizens yesterday. Please join me in a round of applause. Now, to my soldiers on the field, I say this. By now, you realize there is a strength within you, one that you can rely on when things get tough, one that you can share with your battle buddy through a well-timed word of encouragement. What is more, you have been given and have internalized the tools and training to meet future challenges head-on and overcome them. You have earned the right to take your place in our Army, and I welcome you. Now, as you look to a future of limitless possibilities, remember the past. And I charge you, carry the spirit of 1776 forward. Embrace your future in our Army and be all you can be. 40 rounds. Victory.
Colors, reverse.
Today's soldier is above all a warrior, adaptive, confident, and competent. As a soldier, you are totally commitment to the warrior ethos, grounded in Army values and determined to destroy enemies of the United States of America and her allies. The United States Army Soldier's Creed embodies this commitment. To the soldiers on the field, the uniform you wear at this moment is more than an outward display of your vocational choice. Your uniform is a symbol of a nation and an unspoken assurance to all those who see that you are willing, an able protector of the freedoms fought so arduously by all who have gone before and those who will bravely come after. You have become what you are set out to be, a soldier in the United States Army. The Soldier's Creed is the declaration of your unshakable commitment and the ideals of this nation was founded upon and will continue to guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Private First Class Zachary Danick presents a certificate of appreciation to the retiree and leads the soldiers standing before you through the reciting of the Soldier's Creed.
The Soldier's Creed.
Please be seated.
Pass in review.
40 rounds.
Pass in review.
In consideration of those around you, we ask that you please remain seated and in the bleachers until all soldiers have passed the reviewing stand and the conclusion of the ceremony is announced. As you are approached by the Army flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it has passed to your right. Once the ceremony has concluded, family members of awardees may meet their soldier under the canopy located to the left of the bleachers. All other family members and friends, please meet your soldier on the field once instructed by the narrator. The 13th Infantry Regiment was constituted in May 1861 when the Army expanded the regular Army during the American Civil War. During the Civil War, the regiment fought its way to Vicksburg by participating in the battles of Hayes Bluffs, Champion Hill, and Black River, taking the fight out of the Confederate forces upon reaching Vicksburg. On 19 May 1863, the 13th Infantry Regiment participated in the assault on Vicksburg, thus earning its official motto of First at Vicksburg. The regiment was the only Union regiment to plant its colors on the Confederate positions. The 13th Infantry Regiment is the only unit to be led by both General William Sherman, known as America's most aggressive maneuver commander, and the General Philip Sheridan, the greatest Union cavalry officer. From 1867 to 1871, the regiment fought in the Indian Wars in Montana and North Dakota. In June of 1889, the regiment was sent to Cuba and led the 1st Infantry's attack on San Juan Hill, capturing the Spanish flag. The regiment saw action in the Philippines during the Philippines insurrection and was assigned to the 8th Infantry Division in June 1918. The regiment found itself fighting through the hedge wars of France in July of 1944 as a member of the 8th Infantry Division and led the drive to the A River. The regiment spent 10 months in combat in northern France, the Rhineland, and Central Europe. It occupied a position on Siegfried Line and was involved in bloody battles of Hurtl Forest. After multiple activations and inactivations, on 27 February 1987, the 13th Infantry Regiment was transferred to the United States Army Training and Doctrine Command and reorganized at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Currently, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Battalions of 13th Infantry Regiment conduct basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Passing the reviewing stand is the Commander of Troops, Major Gregory Barcelow, and the battalion staff. The 282nd Army Band is led by Sergeant First Class Matthew Johnston. The drum major is Staff Sergeant Cameron Chandler. Company A is commanded by Captain Randy King. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Brian Oliveira, trained by Drill Sergeant Richard Spencer. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Nicholas Gardner, trained by Drill Sergeant Russell Sego. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Asia Hill, trained by Drill Sergeant Kyle Pagonis. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Carrie Trosclair, trained by Drill Sergeant Alex Graytek. In the rear of the formation is First Sergeant Stephen Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are approached by the American flag, it is appropriate to rise and remain standing until it is passed to your right. Company B is commanded by Captain Albert Beninati. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Joshua Moon, trained by Drill Sergeant Aquila Hart. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Benjamin Yunker, trained by Drill Sergeant Patrick Groves. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Vivian Soriel, trained by Drill Sergeant David Puente. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Shane Garcia, trained by Drill Sergeant Nydia Gomez. In rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Christopher Jessberger. The battalion color guard is led by Drill Sergeant Dentravius Glover, with Drill Sergeant Eduardo Blazado, Drill Sergeant Caitlin Curry, and Drill Sergeant Michael Cruz. Company C is commanded by Captain Antonio Stedford. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Ricardo Linares, trained by Drill Sergeant Audrey Hernandez. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant No Onda, trained by Drill Sergeant Zachary Mullins. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Alexander Hansen, trained by Drill Sergeant Clemisha Bobo. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Dominique Breedlove, trained by Drill Sergeant William Bowman. In rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Christopher Bush. Company D is commanded by First Lieutenant Catherine Curtis. First platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Alexis Fernandez, trained by Drill Sergeant Kevin Cowart. Second platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant James Kennedy, trained by Drill Sergeant James Myrick. Third platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Brandon Williams, trained by Drill Sergeant Vincent Macarenas. Fourth platoon is led by Senior Drill Sergeant Dylan Caldwell, trained by Drill Sergeant Stephen Martinez. In the rear of the formation is the First Sergeant Tyson Baumgartner. Please stand for the Army song and remain standing in the bleachers until the conclusion of the ceremony is announced.
Sir, this concludes the ceremony. 40 rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Retirees and their family members and family members of awardees, please move to the canopy to the left of the bleachers. All other family members and friends, please be seated until your soldier is done on the parade field, once instructed by their respective companies. We ask that you please take all trash and personal items with you as you exit, as our soldiers will be liable if not done so. Please enjoy the rest of your day and have a safe journey home. Victory starts here.